at the edge of the ancient inland sea. I'm particularly pleased about this collection. Well, I am all my collections. Pardon me. Whenever you get a group of poems together, it's a great act of gratuity on the part of the publisher, because he's not going to make any money on it, and neither are you. People still don't read much poetry in America, but I have a few friends and relatives who'll read this. But what makes me excited about this one, besides being a place to gather my Nebraska poems, or at least some of them, is that Gary Storm is responsible for the cover. His painting is on the front of it, and then the rest of the design comes from the painting. So why did I call it At the Edge of the Ancient Inland Sea? Because a lot of people don't know this, but Nebraska has been an ocean 3 different times. And where Elkhorn is, which is kind of a little west of Omaha, has been the shoreline, the sea line, the edge of the ancient inland sea. And when Gary and I were through pastoring churches together, he went back to teaching science before he became the principal and later the superintendent at Pratt School. And he used to go out weekends, and he'd see a land formation and go up to the farmer and ask if he could go onto the land. And he would dig for fossils to take back for his students to see. Sea fossils. All kinds of wonderful things. So I became, early on, sort of attracted to the ancientness of this land. And then when we got our farm in Brunswick and we put in wells where we had to dig down through the aquifers, and sometimes very interesting bones came up, and fossil bones came up, especially when they got down to the second aquifer for the farmhouse. So it encompasses all sorts of things about Nebraska: the Platte, the rivers, the life here. I lived here, was stationed out here in the military in the 50s to 60, came back in 62 for a year, and then came back in 73, and I've lived here ever since. I was on an early television show back in the 70s, and they wanted to know if I considered myself a poet of place, and I told them I really considered myself a poet of the universe, because I was writing and have since published a large collection of poems that deal with the universe and the planets and moons and my place in all of that, as well now as a collection of poems about my hometown, Buckley, Washington. But at the time I didn't consider myself a poet of place, but then, slowly the place takes you over, and there are places in the landscape that become endearing to you. Camping overnight at Royal Lake, or ice fishing, or driving a combine in the corn, or just all sorts of things. Beautiful statues in downtown Omaha. And slowly those things began to get collected into a group of poems. And I was so pleased with the editors of this collection, because after they'd accepted the book, I had an experience and wrote a poem called Walking a, what is that called? Well, it's in the book, isn't it? I can look up the title. Walking a Crop Circle in Antelope County. And they were kind enough to slip it in as the last poem in the book, which is appropriate, I thought. So, with thanks to Rich Wyatt and Greg Kosmicki, the editors and publishers at Backwaters Press, I hope that you'll enjoy these poems as much as I have enjoyed writing them. And thanks again to Lance Wilcox for some of his comments on the back cover. I hope you enjoy them. Buy a copy for everybody you know for Christmas.